The West Philippine Sea is more than just a name. It's a symbol of national pride, identity, and survival for millions of Filipinos. It's a lifeline for the Philippines, supporting the daily lives of countless coastal communities who depend on its rich waters for their livelihood. The sea lies within the country's exclusive economic zone, providing not only food and jobs, but also the promise of untapped energy resources like oil and natural gas, vital for the nation's future development and energy security. This sea is also a crucial artery for global trade, with over a third of the world's shipping passing through its waters each year, connecting Asia to the rest of the world and fueling economies far beyond the region. But its immense importance has made it a flashpoint for regional tensions and international disputes. China claims nearly the entire South China Sea, including vast areas well within the Philippines' EEZ, despite a 2016 international tribunal ruling that rejected these sweeping claims and upheld Philippine rights. Instead of backing down, China has ramped up its presence, deploying Coast Guard, militia, and naval vessels, building artificial islands, and creating a tense standoff that threatens to escalate at any moment. The Philippine Navy and Coast Guard are on constant alert, tasked with defending the nation's rights and sovereignty against a much larger and more powerful neighbor, often under difficult and dangerous conditions. The government must balance national interests, the safety of its people, and the risk of open conflict, while seeking support from allies and the international community. What happens here affects not just the Philippines but the security, stability, and prosperity of the entire Indo-Pacific region, making this dispute a matter of global concern. The West Philippine Sea is now a stage for a high-stakes contest of sovereignty, power, and international law, with the world's major powers watching closely. The world is watching what unfolds in these contested waters, as the outcome will shape the future of the region and set precedents for international maritime disputes everywhere. Tensions have spiked at 2nd Thomas Shoal, or Ayungin Shoal, just 105 nautical miles from Palawan. Here, the BRP Sierra Madre, a grounded W-2 ship, serves as a Philippine outpost, now a symbol of sovereignty and a flashpoint for confrontation. Recently, China deployed a formidable force: Coast Guard ships, militia boats, fast boats with heavy weapons, and even aerial surveillance. Chinese vessels have practiced water cannon drills and sent armed craft into the shoal's lagoon, signaling a shift to more aggressive tactics. These gray zone operations, coercive but just short of war, aim to tighten China's grip while avoiding outright conflict. For the Philippines, every resupply mission is a test of resolve, as they face a relentless campaign to isolate their outpost. The standoff at Ayungin Shoal is a microcosm of the broader struggle for control in the West Philippine Sea. The Philippine Navy is now investigating not just what's visible on the surface, but what might be happening beneath the waves. Intelligence suggests possible Chinese underwater activity, sensors, drones, or even submarines, threatening Philippine control of its own waters. The Navy has stepped up patrols, deploying sonar-equipped ships and maritime patrol aircraft to monitor for suspicious activity. Local fishermen's reports are also being gathered, as they're often the first to spot unusual movements. The concern: China could be establishing a persistent underwater presence, gaining a strategic edge. The conflict is no longer just about ships on the surface, it's a three-dimensional contest across air, sea, and the depths below. For the Philippines, adapting to this new reality is critical to defending its maritime sovereignty. The battle for the West Philippine Sea is now fought above and below the surface. The Philippines is not alone in this fight. In the face of growing maritime challenges, the nation stands shoulder to shoulder with a coalition of committed allies, determined to uphold peace and stability in the region. Recent multilateral naval exercises, Sama-Sama, meaning together, brought warships from the US, Japan, Canada, and France to Philippine waters. These exercises are more than just a show of force. They are a testament to the enduring partnerships that bind these nations. The drills, held near Chinese-occupied features, showcased a united front: American, Canadian, Japanese, and Philippine ships sailing in tight formation, practicing live fire, anti-submarine, and anti-aircraft maneuvers. Each operation is carefully coordinated, reflecting months of planning and trust among the crews. Advanced surveillance aircraft from France and the US joined, honing the group's ability to detect threats above and below the waves. These high-tech assets, provide critical intelligence, making the exercises more effective and realistic. These exercises build real-world cooperation and send a clear message. Aggression against the Philippines will be met with allied resolve. The seamless teamwork on display is a powerful deterrent to those who would threaten regional peace. They also reinforce the principle of freedom of navigation and the rules-based international order. By operating together, these navies affirm that international waters remain open and accessible to all. By training together in contested waters, these nations demonstrate that the West Philippine Sea is not China's alone. Their presence is a reminder that the world values stability and the rights of all nations, big or small. The presence of allies strengthens the Philippines' hand, both at sea and at the negotiating table. Diplomatic efforts are bolstered by the visible support of friends and partners. Unity is the region's best defense against coercion. When nations stand together, they create a shield that is difficult to break. The world is watching, and so are the adversaries. Every maneuver, every alliance, and every act of cooperation sends a message. The commitment to maritime security is unwavering, and the eyes of the world are on the West Philippine Sea. The conflict isn't just diplomatic, it's dangerously real at sea. Tensions play out daily on the waves, far from the negotiating tables where every maneuver can have life or death consequences for those involved. Philippine resupply missions to the BRP Sierra Madre are routinely blocked and harassed by Chinese ships. These missions, essential for the survival of the outpost's crew, are met with aggressive tactics designed to intimidate and disrupt. Water cannons have damaged boats and endangered lives, while Chinese fast boats have even boarded and sabotaged Philippine vessels. The use of force is not just a show of power, it's a direct threat to the safety of those at sea, escalating the risk of a wider conflict. In one violent incident, a Philippine sailor was seriously injured, underscoring the risk of escalation. Medical evacuations at sea are perilous, and every clash brings the possibility of tragedy. Chinese aggression isn't limited to military targets. Filipino fishermen are also harassed and driven from their traditional grounds. These fishermen face intimidation, loss of income, and the constant fear of violence, simply for trying to make a living. Despite overwhelming odds, Philippine crews show remarkable courage, maneuvering small boats to block larger, heavily armed Chinese vessels. Their actions are a testament to their resilience and commitment to defending their nation's rights. These acts of defiance highlight the determination of those on the front lines. Each standoff is a powerful statement that they will not back down, no matter the pressure. The struggle is not just for territory, but for the right to live and work in their own waters. For many, the sea is their home and their heritage, and losing access means losing a way of life passed down through generations. Every encounter is a reminder. The stakes are life, livelihood, and national dignity. The world watches, but for those at sea, the struggle is deeply personal and unrelenting. At the heart of the standoff are two irreconcilable narratives. The Philippines stands on international law, citing the UN Convention on the Law of the Sea and a 2016 tribunal ruling that invalidated China's sweeping claims. Manila frames its actions as legal and defensive, routine resupply missions, patrols, and joint exercises to protect its EEZ. China, meanwhile, claims historic rights and calls the BRP Sierra Madre an illegal occupation, vowing to enforce its claims with law enforcement operations. Beijing dismisses the tribunal ruling and accuses the Philippines of provocation, often blaming outside powers for stirring trouble. Both sides claim to be acting defensively, but the result is a dangerous impasse. Communication breaks down, and the risk of miscalculation grows. The world watches as two narratives collide, with no easy resolution in sight. Despite constant pressure, Filipino soldiers and Coast Guard personnel remain resolute. Rear Admiral Roy Vincent Trinidad has called out China's actions as intimidation but insists Filipino troops are undaunted. Outgunned and outnumbered, they see themselves as guardians of the nation's maritime frontier. Their courage is not just talk. Video shows small Philippine boats blocking much larger Chinese vessels, risking everything to hold the line. These acts inspire the nation and send a message. Maina. The Philippines will not be easily intimidated. The spirit of defiance is a cornerstone of the country's defense strategy. While diplomacy and alliances matter, it's the resolve of those on the front lines that buys time and strengthens the nation's position. Their resilience is a powerful deterrent. In the West Philippine Sea, a handful of determined Filipinos stand between their country and coercion. The West Philippine Sea dispute is not just about territory, it's about people and livelihoods. For generations, Filipino fishermen have relied on these waters for food and income. Now Chinese harassment has made fishing dangerous, pushing families deeper into poverty and threatening food security. The sea also holds vital energy resources, oil and gas that could power the nation's future. But Chinese obstruction prevents the Philippines from tapping its own wealth, stalling economic development. Defense spending has soared, diverting funds from education, healthcare, and infrastructure. The cost of defending sovereignty is high, but the cost of losing it is even greater. The government faces a tough challenge: protect the nation's future without sacrificing its people's present. The stakes are nothing less than national survival. The West Philippine Sea is a test for the entire Indo-Pacific. Its stability is vital for global trade and security. The Philippines' strategy, legal action, diplomacy, and alliances aims to defend its rights without triggering war. Maintaining peace requires resolve and open communication, even as tensions run high. The support of allies helps level the playing field and upholds the rules-based order. The future of regional peace depends on whether international law prevails over force. For the Philippines, the stakes are existential: territory, resources, and sovereignty. For the world, it's about preserving a stable, predictable system where all nations' rights are respected. The path is fraught with risk, but the pursuit of a just and lasting peace remains essential. The world is watching, and the outcome will shape the region for generations.